Here we go. Well, Lola, and it's actually going to be a joint podcast with your podcast and my podcast. So I'll say hi, you say hi, and we'll just merge together somehow.
Yeah, great. Yeah. I mean, I could start if like it's not a very like podcast ongoing thing. I'm kind of doing a YouTube channel. It's called The Sensitive Club now, but I might change it in the future. And yeah, I have Victoria with me today. I asked her if we could have a podcast recording because I've been listening to Victoria's podcast episodes on repeat, like probably every day. I was ill from an eating disorder. It honestly, it might sound weird, but it sometimes really felt like you were kind of my second mom
That's I
because
get that a lot. It's not weird at all.
yeah, because your approach was always so compassionate and loving, and you've also been through it yourself, and that just helps such a big amount with helping someone else in recovery. Yeah.
I
So
agree too. Like, I'm not saying people who haven't had an eating disorder can't help someone else, but I think those that have been through it, there's just a different level of
yeah,
compassion and understanding, isn't there?
yeah. Because even now, I sometimes struggle to. I mean, I don't really want to go back into that mindset, but more like trying to get back into the to those shoes to feel what it was like again or something. It's very hard because it's such a different world and like a demon kind of.
Yeah, well, it's because your brain now is completely rewired in a different way. Your nervous system is playing a different song.
Yeah,
You are a different person in all the ways.
yeah,
One of the things I love about coaching is I'm reminded every day of how shit it was. And then because I
yeah,
remember that and I'm empathetic and compassionate with my clients, it doesn't allow me to forget. And I like that because I'm really in the pain with them because I
yeah,
remember how it feels and it kind of sucks a lot.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Let's
Very.
dive in with, so if anyone sees me like looking, I've got just a few notes and we'll intuitively go off on tangents, I'm sure, but we've got a little bit of a structure that we wanted to ask each other. So the first question that I have for you, Lola, is um, I know we don't have to share names or anything like that, but I think you've touched on it briefly, but it's worth sharing for anyone who might have been in the position you were in. So you hired a coach who was a good coach, but then there was something missing for you, which is then why you kind of came into my world through the group. What was
Yeah.
missing for you, and what did you receive in the group that wasn't in this original one-to-one relationship?
Yeah. So eventually, yeah, there was a point where I was really like, I need to make a change. And so I did a lot of research in the different kinds of coaching styles and groups. And I, of course, I knew about you, but I don't know. I thought, oh, maybe it's useful to also have it because this coach was also Dutch. So I thought, oh, that could be useful if I sometimes feel the need. It might be a bit more comfortable for me. Sometimes I really feel like speaking Dutch, and that's the only way that really soothes me or something. And it was like a 6 week program. Not that I was like, I want to get it over with and like bring it on. But it just felt like, okay, I really want to recover. I have to. And just bring it on as intense as possible. I was kind of like that, I think. So that's why I kind of chose for her in the end. But yeah, it felt very. Um, there were some moments where I really felt like I was really true to myself and I knew what would work best for me. But then because it were like the rules of the way that um, program went, I had to do it differently. So it kind of took away like the connection to my real true self because even though the eating disorder is such a big like demon that kind of takes you over completely and you can't really trust what you like think or feel anymore, I still felt like I had some glimpses of it, and I'm in general very intuitive. So Like there was even one time when I had to like buy croissants for breakfast and stuff, and I had to eat it there without anything on it. But I actually wanted to take it home, which would only take 5 minutes of walking, and then put some jam on it because that's how I like it. And
Mm.
that was not allowed because I needed to practice to just like have it. Yeah, so it felt really weird because yeah, sometimes I like understood the intentions, but I was also like, you're taking away some kind of yeah, connection to myself. And yeah, I recovery is so like the voice is gonna scream so loud. So I was texting that coach a lot, and just with all the things I was doubting and everything. And that just went on, of course, for ages in recovery. But especially at the start, it's so loud, and I needed to just talk and like say what was going on. But sometimes it really felt like it, yeah, I've almost felt like weird for having all these doubts and stuff. It wasn't loving and compassionate enough, I think.
Mm.
It just really made me feel a bit ridiculous. Like, okay, I'm doing this crazy hard thing, and I know through all these podcast episodes that's going to be very hard, and it feels hard. And this person, even though they've been through it themselves, it almost feels like I'm not being understood completely or something like
Mm.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, I got that from you, the lack of being understood. So if anyone is listening or watching who does have support and they don't feel truly understood or seen, please don't see that as a sign to give up or
Yeah.
think recovery is not for you. That's not true. You just might haven't found your person to support you. And then the other thing you said, um, I think you were missing that complete autonomy of choice, that complete empowerment of self, what you want, what you choose to support your recovery in your life,
Yeah.
therefore, after, other than just following rules because the ED has rules. And even though it's recovery, even though following rules, if it's not like an empowered choice of what you desire, then it's not really freedom in a way.
Yeah, yeah, because so much of recovery is discovering a new version of yourself, and
Yes.
it's been such a big journey, and it takes time and patience, but yeah, recovery looks different for everybody. And yeah, if there are too many rules in that program, like I understand because sometimes maybe, the ED takes over and it lies about not wanting to do a certain thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, in recovery, you also have to practice to trust yourself again and look past the illness. And like, yeah, it's just so much like practice. One more little thing that stood out, I also had to really log what I ate in a day for a couple of days. And that just really triggered me from the time I was hospitalized and stuff, when I had a whole menu and everything. And
Yeah.
when I did used to like calorie count. So I felt very uncomfortable doing that because I didn't want to, it almost like brought back even more focus again. And I was just worried that then I couldn't go back again as soon.
Yes. No, I
Yeah.
completely get that.
Yeah.
I'm glad you found my world and now you're recovered yourself and supporting and helping others through your voice. Where do you want to dive into? I don't want to just like, I'm so used to leading the conversation, but do you want to like dive into a little bit and then we can maybe take it in turns to ask a question or something?
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy if you still want to do your like the way you usually do it. But I am generally very interested in spirituality, and how I thought that would be quite a good thing to bring up because I didn't know that like recovery has brought me so yeah, so deep into spirituality, so close to really like my soul and my heart. And it's still an ongoing journey for the rest of my life, for everyone's life. I'm never gonna be there, and no one is, but I've made such a huge amount of progress and growth. And yeah, it is true what they say, like suffering also kind of, you need suffering to awaken. Um, but
Sure.
I thought it would be good to discuss that because, yeah, spirituality can really help, I think, with recovery as well. Yeah.
I agree. Like if I look back at the past version of me, who had an eating disorder, before I chose recovery, in fact, even when I chose recovery, I would have rolled my eyes and a bit like a, oh, for God's sake, like if someone was talking about the stuff I talk about now, about crystals and energies and
Mm,
chakras
yeah.
and all that kind of stuff. If someone mentioned the word meditation, I'd be thinking, oh my God, like I just don't want to hear it. Like,
Yeah.
and so I think it's worth speaking to that because not
Yeah.
everyone who comes to me or who listens to the podcast considers themselves spiritual or spiritual curious. But that you don't have to be to recover, but we're going to talk about how it helped us. So
Yeah.
it helped me, first of all, through personal development. That's when I decided, like, maybe there's something more to life than this hellhole of an eating disorder that I'm in. So that the personal development world, just the general personal development, kind of opened the door to like there's better than what I'm experiencing in life. Then I chose to recover, and through that recovery path, because of the suffering what I have endured previously in childhood and growing up, and then in recovery, it kind of cracks you open. How do I even put this into words? I kind of fell upon spirituality through personal development. The first book I ever read, because I was like a non-believer. I was like, you've got to prove it for me to like believe it. And the first book I ever read, I don't even remember how I came across it. It's a short book, so if anyone wants to read it, you can literally read it in a day. It's called Many Lives, Many Masters. I can't think of the author. It's a PhD, somebody who was also a non believer. And after reading that book, I was like, oh, something just, there was again another
Yeah.
door that was just wide open. And I was like, I want to learn more about this. And then through that journey that I'm still on, as you've so beautifully said, for me, in terms of recovery and body image specifically, it helps me look at the bigger picture of everything. Like, we're wasting our lives like being so afraid of what other people think and what size our bodies are and what they think of us and what we're eating when there's so much more to this like little life that we're living. I'm going to stop there because I can go so deep into this, but I can feel you're agreeing. Like, what was your experience to like get into it to begin with?
Yeah, when I hear you talk like that, like I can feel your enthusiasm for it, but
Mhm.
also I just brighten up because it's so interesting and I there's so much to discover about the world that we cannot perceive with our eyes, like
Mhm.
the energies and stuff. It's only been, I think, a week since I actually read a good text about chakras because I think that's the main word, like at least with me in the past, chakra. That's just the funniest kind of word if you're gonna joke
Yeah.
about the spirituality thing. And it's so amazing how it all works and with the energy in your heart. And yeah, as I just said, I just drank some cacao, which is heart opening, and now I understand it even more. And um, yeah, it's so yeah. So sorry, what did you ask? You
Yeah, how did you kind of fall into
Yeah.
spirituality and how did that help your recovery?
So I think at the start, it might be like that for most people. You kind of want to get into spirituality, and it feels a little bit forced. Like
Mm.
you cannot totally feel it yet. But like now I can really feel it and it happens kind of intuitively what I want to do and I really feel this connection with yeah, the spiritual world and everything. Um, but I think I in recovery I was still practicing yoga um, because it was a way for me to kind of also deal with the just crazy roller coaster of recovery. Um, and yeah, that sometimes I think did like bring me into this more spiritual connection. But there's still so much I want to learn about yoga, about spirituality and all that because it's it's not really a workout, it's more
Mm.
to be present. Um, and yeah, so I think yoga was like maybe the first thing. And yeah, I think I've only been meditating since like half a year or something, because it always, yeah, felt like uh, I the result, I don't see results, so it also
Mm.
kind of tests that mindset of needing a result all the time. I mean, there are brain studies and everything that show you that even a couple of days meditating, maybe 7 minutes a day, 10 minutes a day, can really improve the brain for the people that actually want to see results. But
Mm.
in general, like, I guess also, yeah, challenges that mindset. And um, yeah, I think another thing I did in recovery a lot was positive affirmations in the morning in the mirror. I would say that kind of has to do with spirituality, to really change the voice in my head
Mm.
and the way I speak to myself. And yeah, it also took some time, but I just did that every day. And now I have such a nice voice speaking to me. But the next step, which I'm kind of like practicing now almost every day, is detaching from that voice completely. So first it was like, okay, I'm rewiring it and making it a nice, positive voice. I want to talk nicely to myself. But now I'm kind of learning how whatever that voice says, it's not me anyway. So I'm like, if it says nice things, okay, that will feel more pleasant. But in the end, it's like not me anyway. So attaching to that, yeah, I try to just observe it as much as possible. Um,
Yeah, oh, I love that.
yeah,
That's another layer. And as Buddha says, the greatest form of suffering is attachment.
yeah,
And that's both positive attachment and negative attachment. If we're attached to anything to support us feeling a certain way, then we're suffering.
yeah,
And then talking of suffering, something that helped me, and I guess still helps me spirituality wise, was slash is when you have a painful emotion, let's say to do with your body image or the way you look or whatever it is. And I think I'm trying to think what book it was I was reading. Maybe The Power of Now, probably.
yeah.
Um, and he was saying if it was Eckhart Tolle, I've read so many books, I don't remember exactly
Yeah.
which one.
Follows Power of Now. Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I'm going to say?
Oh,
You probably know what I'm going to say because I've shared it before. But it was like when I'm feeling a pain, it's not only me. And I swapped my vocabulary inside my head from my pain to the pain.
mm,
So
yeah,
my pain of wearing shorts and having cellulite and feeling fat and all the whole stories that we used to tell ourselves over and over again that made us feel shit and restrict, etc. I would like swap it to it's the pain of all the women and men or whoever in the world who were feeling the same emotions that I was feeling at that time.
mhm,
And then from connecting to everyone else who was experiencing what I was experiencing at the time, this empowerment of like fuck this like came from somewhere because it was no longer just for me and like poor me and my story and what I'm struggling with. And I say poor me in a compassionate way, but it also is in a bit of victim mentality, like poor me, I've got cellulite on my legs, boo hoo, all that. But then when I understood that so many others are feeling the same way, that made me angry. Like, I don't want them to suffer. And then it was like, well, why do I want me to suffer? And I was like, well, I don't. And so again, that opens something up to like, we're all connected somehow.
yeah,
And if I can't do it for me, I'm going to do it for the we
mhm,
first.
mhm,
And then that helped me on my recovery journey. Like, I would wear shorts not for me, but for someone else who was my size or bigger, who was also afraid to wear shorts. I would wear them for her.
yeah,
And so that connectedness helped me in my body image journey, especially.
yeah. That's beautiful. Well, I also thought when you were saying instead of my pain, the pain, that shows that you're detaching from the pain, because it's just there and it's coming by as like a thunderstorm, But it's, yeah, it's not yours, so you don't have to cling to it. And it, instead of calling it yours, as also with an eating disorder, I really try to change that language of, it's not my eating disorder, it's the eating disorder. It's never mine. Like,
Yes.
yeah,
Not identifying with it or taking it personally, because that's harder to then let go of if you're doing that. So well said.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And then the same goes for actually your body, right? If you detach too much, if you attach yourself too much to your appearance, your body, then that's gonna, even though it might be positive at the start,
Mm.
it creates suffering, because we all know bodies change all the time, every day. And like over the past 2 weeks, my body has changed so much through traveling and this and that, and so many reasons. But it feels, yeah, more okay now, because I just know it's gonna change all the time. And I like, why would I? It doesn't make sense to cling onto a certain appearance. Like, it really doesn't. The also, when I sometimes see myself in the mirror and and maybe I'm a bit more happy with it, right away I snap back and I'm like, that joy of like seeing yourself and being kind of happy about the way you look, it also feels so fake in the end. It's because it's not gonna last, and what does it give you? It doesn't fulfill me. And yeah, it, like, yeah, it's
I
really,
love that. Yeah, because like you said, even if you like the way it looks, if you're attached to that, you're going to be afraid to lose it. And you might ask, like, well, what if it changes? So if we want freedom, any attachment is not going to get us there. So
yeah,
I've actually liked how you've shared that, because some people come to me with questions like, oh no, I've lost a bit of weight and I'm liking the way I look. Now I'm afraid that I'm going to be,
yeah,
going down that spiral again. And it's exactly what you've shared. It's, well, I'm not my body.
yeah,
My body will probably change when I'm older, next week, tomorrow, whatever it is. So it is what it is. And a quote I love that I really live by is, everything will be okay if you're okay with everything.
yeah,
And so obviously the deep spiritual work is being okay with everything. And I would say that I'm primarily living at a complete acceptance of whatever happens. And
yeah,
my next deeper work, which I'm working on now, is to love everything that happens.
yeah,
Is to be like, I love the fact that this is really hard right now. Whereas I guess now I'm at a stage of like, I'm completely accepting that this is, let's say, shit. What can I learn from this? But my next work is like, not pretending to love it, not saying the words, but having that sense of like, I am so fucking grateful that this really bad thing is happening and I love it, and then kind of moving on from there. So that's what I'm
yeah.
working on spiritually right now.
Oh, amazing. And how do you think you will, yeah, what kind of practices will you bring in to work on that more?
Well, first of all, I did this in ED recovery, acting as if I do love it. So
Yeah,
I guess there is a little bit of a like, fake it till you make it, acting as if before it comes true. But that's really powerful for me. So
yeah,
when I notice any resistance or any, okay, I accept it, if there's any but I, then a story, I notice what I'm doing in my head, and I'm like, what would a person act like if they genuinely loved this situation, or if they genuinely loved what was happening right now? And then even asking that question brings me in a different state from
yeah,
either resistance or acceptance, or looking then, because what we search for we find,
yeah,
right? So if
yeah,
I'm looking for why I love this,
yeah,
I find why I love this. And then going even deeper than that, because obviously looking for things is the mind, it's part of the ego, it's the human experience. But also just choosing to be loving of everything is hard to put in words, because our natural state loves everything anyway. It doesn't even have a preference. It just experiences joy and peace in everything. So I guess
yeah,
through my mindset, I'm hoping to create that experience of feeling of genuine just beingness and having no preference,
yeah,
if that makes sense.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It is hard to describe these things in
Mm.
words, because it's, yeah, it's the spiritual, like it's energy, it's feelings. Yeah,
Yes.
I
And
totally get it.
if you could, and I'm going to share one thing as well. What if I want to ask you, if anyone listening, some people will be like, totally get you. Some people will be like, don't really grasp what they're saying, but I want to. How, what one thing would you suggest to someone for them to have an opportunity to experience what we're talking about here, like what spirituality is within themselves? Does that question make sense?
Yeah. Um, I think, I actually think cacao would
Mm-hmm.
really help because it does really open the heart. I think the first couple of times I drank cacao and knew about this heart opening thing, I was a bit like, why? Like, how does that work? And it's only since a few months that I really understand it, but it does really help. And I think, yeah, it would help someone to who cannot feel this at all yet to, yeah, be more open to it. And what I love and what I want to learn more about and what I would love to teach or like open spaces for, give classes, is a cacao dance, um, with
Mm-hmm.
some journaling. That's like, I'm very excited to bring that into like a class for other people at some point. But again, I'm also open if things go differently. But yeah, like doing a kind of, maybe you have a place in the neighborhood or on holiday somewhere where they do like a cacao ceremony, and or you, yeah, you can buy it yourself, like pure ceremonial cacao, and start journaling with that as well. Start journaling and turn on some music that makes you feel connected, and
Mm-hmm.
let maybe your body flow and move and see what happens. And it can speak so much and you can feel so much in that. And you might not be able to describe what it is, but that's the whole point. Like you feel it is just, you feel that energy. I think that would be maybe the, yeah, a good way of experiencing some of that. Yeah.
I agree. And if anyone is
Yeah.
listening who will be more interested in that, maybe if you're in the Netherlands, message Lola because then if you have a few people, you could actually get a group
Yeah.
together. If you're not in the Netherlands, wait, are you living in the Netherlands? Because I know you're
Yeah.
Dutch, but you've gone everywhere, haven't you? So
Yeah. Since March, I'm back in Amsterdam. Yeah, I'm in Amsterdam now.
so just to make sure you're in the right country.
Yeah.
But anyone else, like if you want to find this out for yourself, obviously you can do your own ritual, but I think it's very powerful if you search for one in your area. There will be one, I'm pretty certain, wherever anybody is, to actually go to a woman's circle and have an experience of a lead cacao ceremony. They are
Mm,
beautiful and it's just like, yeah, such a sacred
mm,
experience. So that is a beautiful suggestion.
yeah.
And what
Yeah.
I would suggest is, I mean, number one, it's a no-brainer, so I'm kind of going to cheat and give two here, is just spend time in nature. Go and look at the sea, go and look at the trees and the wind or whatever, like just without your phone, just by yourself.
Yeah.
But if you have a garden, or you don't even have to have a garden, you can literally have those little pots that you can put on your kitchen in the sun, on the worktop or whatever, and take a seed of anything you want to grow and then obviously take care of it, water it, and watch how that tiny, tiny little seed, which contains all the information of the universe in that tiny little seed,
Yeah.
and it will grow into whatever it's destined to grow into. And if you watch it grow before your eyes, it's insane. The reason I've suggested that is like our garden is everything is edible in the garden. We have fruits, vegetables, herbs,
Oh,
everything.
yeah.
And my husband was taking care a few months ago of these tiny little seeds that he planted in the kitchen on the windowsill. He was growing cucumbers, and then they got a little bigger. Then he like put them outside in the sun for a few days and brought them back in to get them used to the atmosphere. Then he put them in the greenhouse, and now there's like it's like a jungle. They're huge, and to watch that, I mean, we take it for granted, I think. You know, you just, things grow, like you go to the supermarket and you buy shit. But if you really take the time to get to know a seed that you've planted and watch it grow, you can't not. be pondering the big questions, such as like, where the fuck did all this intelligence come from? Like, you
Yeah.
can't not
Yeah.
to do that.
Yeah. Yeah, I totally agree. Yeah, that's might be a bit more accessible, like being in nature. It's yeah, being on the beach and especially in the dark and having like this walk and everything is dark and you hear the waves. It's such a beautiful experience.
Yeah, and
And
it helps.
yeah, and then you're just surrounded by nature and you feel also so small, you know?
Yeah,
Like, wow, there's no, in the end, there's nothing to worry about. Why am I worrying about the way I look when there's this sea in front of me or these trees and everything is just alive and it's holding me and I always feel more safe around nature and to just
yeah,
look at it makes me feel included and safe. And
because you
sometimes,
are, and we are nature.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
makes you feel less alone
yeah,
sometimes.
because we're connected. And again, I'm going to reference the book. This is a parenting book. It had nothing to do with ED recovery or anything like that. Um, and it was to do with, I wish I'd got the book in front of me, you know, like those illusions that you know, people will draw a line which is the same length, but because of the cut, like let's say they've got an arrow going, you're gonna have to watch the video podcast if you wonder what the hell I'm talking about, so I'm kind of doing, I do something with my hands right now. There's like a line and you've got an arrow facing like inwards on one line and an arrow facing like outwards on the other line. So the lines look a different length because of the ends, bookmark ends, if you like, of the line, but the line's the same size. And in cultures where they don't have typical houses like we do, because we're obviously we build houses like square and rectangles, we use edges and corners to build with. People who are back to their natural roots always build in like circles, that it's never edges and lines. And there was just one paragraph, sentence, sorry, in the book that said something like, nature doesn't do well with edges and corners, nature loves curves.
Hmm.
And I like sat with, and I was like, oh yeah. And I kind of sat with it for a minute and then obviously brought it back to body image, 'cause that's what I'm teaching in and that's what I've been through. And so we're trying to make ourselves into this something, you know, straight up and down or with blocky abs or whatever it is. Whereas nature just loves and embraces and is natural curves and natural shapes. So something to do with like just the shape of what nature naturally is took my mind to supporting people in our natural bodies and natural body sizes. So when you class yourself, you don't even have to label yourself spirituality, it's just another label. But when you kind of know what we're talking about, everything you read, the deeper stuff, you can connect it with anything you need support with in the moment.
Yeah, 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 I love that. I love that you linked it like that. Yeah, it's so true. Just also this the softness of your body and everything, and it's really the way your body feels best. I also my skin has become so soft and everything has become so soft and my hair has become thicker and everything since recovery and it just feels so much better and yeah, it feels more relaxed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
relaxed and real and raw and
Yeah,
imperfect and peaceful.
yeah, yeah. And to just then, yeah, again, like detach from, okay, it's just an appearance. Like, yeah, I also didn't want to practice body positivity too much. I thought that was the way to go, but later on I realized no, because it makes me attach to
Yes.
an image. So then I started practicing like body neutrality to just completely not care what
That's
it.
the best way. That's true freedom. Like, I said to my client the other day, because I noticed that I was doing this without noticing I was kind of doing it. But like, I would say, I'm going to the shop and my body's coming with me.
Yeah,
I'm going to have a shower and my body's coming with me. So that got me like really at the forefront of my experience and my presence of like, the me that is experiencing life isn't my body. My body's just there to help me. Well, I can't experience it without the body in this human lifetime.
yeah,
So the I isn't the body. So to say things like, you know, I'm going to make love to my husband and my body's coming with me,
Yeah.
that takes the emphasis off like the body's appearance all the
Yeah.
time, whereas actually your body's just with you, that's all.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
different.
Yeah. I love that last example of the making love thing because I think that is probably one of the most terrifying things if you've been working on body image.
For
Yeah.
sure.
Then expose yourself to someone you're interested in. Um, and then it's just the body. I mean, also not just, it's such a blessing and such a
Mm.
like great, beautiful thing, but yeah, that's just the way it is. And you don't want someone who cares about it so much.
Exactly. When you don't even have to be, with your one, even if you're just having fun and being curious, like follow your feeling because in my opinion, having sexual experience and intimacy is a connection, an exchange of energies. Yes, the physical bodies come together, the female receives and the man penetrates. So the female's always receiving, and in order to receive, we need to be relaxed to receive properly. In order to experience pleasure, we need to be relaxed because relaxation is the gateway to pleasure. You cannot experience true pleasure if you're not relaxed, and you can't fully receive unless you're relaxed. So it's like goes off on each other. But what I'm saying with this is, yeah, the bodies come together, but actually, if you are connected with the right person for you at this moment, it doesn't mean you're one person. You can, have a lot of people like this. It is just an exchange of energy and an experience that ends in pleasure, or all of it can be pleasure, but it's not the physical body. Like sexy isn't an image, it's a feeling, it's an energy, it's a connectedness with somebody else. Because I don't know about you, Lola, but I've been with men before who have ticked every single box on the patriarchy list of like what everyone apparently wants in a man, like looks, muscles, height, hair
Yeah.
color, eye, like whatever. And then, yeah, if I were to look at them and they didn't do anything or move or speak, it would be like, oh, yeah, that's like a 10 out of 10. Then, if the person's just not doing it for me energetically, I'm just like not interested.
It's yeah. It, yeah, it's like why, Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It works the
yeah.
other way as well. If someone's doesn't, let's say someone doesn't tick the boxes at all aesthetically, but there's just something about them and you can't really describe it. There's just that an attraction, there's just that connectedness that's very attractive and sexy
Yeah.
without it looking like it should be on a tick box because it's not a tick box exercise. Attraction isn't. Society make us think it is because then we spend money trying to be the tick box analogy,
Mm,
but it's so much deeper and more nuanced than that.
yeah. Because also your body in the end it doesn't like take up subjects, like your eyes you kind of receive energy. It's not like I'm receiving that I'm seeing like a pillow right now. It's the energies. So
Yeah.
that was so interesting to read about that too. I actually, have you read The Untethered Soul?
Oh, it's one of my top five.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm reading it right now. I'm like, wow.
Have
My,
you read right, so he's done three. One of them wasn't that great. The Surrender Experiment wasn't as good as The Untethered Soul.
yeah,
There's another one which I can't think of the title that he did. It's a second book, if you like, of The Untethered Soul. Have you read that one yet?
no, no, I'm
That's
just,
also really good. But yeah, that is just, I mean, now we're on the subject of books, right? Lola, you are going to be so happy I shared these with you. And I'm going to share with them with you because if anyone listening wants to just experiment and explore, then feel free. So they're originally Russian, but they've been translated in all languages. They're really easy to get hold of in Dutch. They're hard to get hold of in English. I've paid like no one has to do this. I did it because I wanted the paper form. I paid like €400 to get the 9 book set, but you can get it online, like on Kindle for like €2 or whatever. But I don't want to read on a computer. So that
yeah.
being said, the books they're Anastasia.
Hmm.
So this series is called Anastasia, and there's 9 books, and you'll Google them; it will tell you all about them. And I can't explain it, but when you read these books, there's like an energetic code in the words when you read them, and you feel them, like I literally, you can see I can't put it into words. All I'm saying is, if you trust me,
Yeah,
go and read the first book, and then just see how you feel,
yeah,
and then I almost guarantee you'll get all the rest of the other nine books.
yeah. Is it fiction or?
Well, it's so long story short, it's about a man, a modern businessman who's who goes into the Russian forest, whatever you call the Russian forest, and he meets this woman who lives in the forest, and she's not like socialized in terms of she's never been living in a city, but she knows every question you can ever think to ask anyone about the universe, about modern machine. She
Mm,
knows everything because she's so deeply connected to nature. She's the purity of like human,
mm,
and she talks about all of that, and she talks about how to bring up children, how to like, I'm not going to say too much, but every question you've ever had, Anastasia will answer it, and
yeah,
something happens when you feel her words. So that's the gist of the story. So I
really?
guess I think maybe it's sold as fiction because there's so many, uh, what am I saying? You have to jump through so many hoops to get it as as a factual book. But she says, Anastasia says, I exist for those who believe I exist.
Oh yeah, yeah,
I exist for those who believe I exist.
yeah,
So obviously that goes the same with any belief. If you believe something's not real, for you it won't be real. If
yeah.
you believe it's real, for you it will be real. And she's real. I believe she's real. This bloke's met her and wrote books about her, but that's up for the reader to decide. But either way, whether you think she's a goddess, an energy, a human, like whatever it is, like you're gonna get something will happen inside of you that will change for the positive when you read these books. So
Mm-hmm. Mm. Oh, I'm excited to start that. Yeah,
let me know what you think because you're
yeah,
gonna love them.
yeah, yeah. Cool.
Cool. Shall we take it? Let me have a look. Where shall we take it now? What's your intuition guiding you to chat about? 'Cause we have a little bit of a list, don't we?
Yeah. I mean, I also I think you kind of touched on that, but I also kind of had a question for you. Um, yeah, if you discovered a whole new person of you after the eating disorder.
I did. I did. And you probably know what I'm going to say. I did discover a new self. And at the same time, I kind of knew that that was me all along.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like I created a new self. In recovery, I thought I was literally creating a new self because I was identifying with the eating disorder. And at the end of the day, we're spiritual beings having a human experience. So we're going to have identities and the ego. Like we can't get away from that. It doesn't have to be a bad thing. So I guess in a sense, I was creating who I wanted to be. Then ironically, who I wanted to be is actually who I always was
Mhm, yeah, yeah.
all
Yeah,
along.
I get what you're saying. I think you also said that to me in the email that you were like, yeah, I could see who you were
Yes.
in the ED or something. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, one of my, I guess, gifts is to see everyone who I interact with, especially those that I work with and support. Literally see them in their highest timeline of empowerment, and I speak to that version of them at the same time as also really acknowledging where they're at and having compassion and understanding and acknowledgement for where they're at. But because I'm energetically only speaking to the true you then can't help, this is all unconscious, just step up and be you, if that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And one thing also that I was wondering how you experienced this because um after like in recovery, I'm also kind of I didn't know how to really label it when I was fully recovered because in the end, like, yeah, you do feel like you have become someone else. And I later on struggled a bit with actually eating for comfort and safety, which is like it's totally normal to do that. And especially like in recovery, you kind of have to do that. But
Mm.
it was really at a point when I was like nutritionally rehabilitated and everything, but it required so much time, and still sometimes it shows up. Like I think even yesterday, but that's also kind of normal, you know. Like we just comfort eat sometimes, and that's a normal human thing to do. Um, but it was at a point, it often just went a bit too far that it would just make me feel very, yeah, just terrible, you know, not even
Mhm.
mentally, but just it would make me feel very bad. But because I think my body was so used to like food is the only thing I have to do. Because in recovery, that was the only thing that was the most important thing I could do, is to eat. And
Yeah.
it was like the answer to everything. Oh, you feel this? Eat. You feel that? Eat. Like anything. So it kind of just, yeah, and it took a while for me to rehabilitate, nutritionally rehabilitate. So that's why it really got ingrained in it being like a safety tool, comfort tool, everything tool.
I remember, yeah, I'm so glad you brought this up because I think this is so common. I remember you messaging me being like, it's not a problem, but like, all I care about is food. So when I'm seeing friends, I
Yeah,
don't want to see them unless food is involved.
yeah,
Like, and then you kind of ask me the question like, does this change? Like, because food, although I'm so much freer, food is still very much a pull
yeah,
everywhere I go. And I was reassuring you that, of course, it makes complete sense. Just keep allowing, keep following, open your life up to adding stuff in
mm,
that is in alignment with who you are and who you want to be. And then naturally, it will just do whatever it naturally needs to do.
yeah,
So, have you experienced that? And then I'll share my experience because I'm still a foodie and I still love food and get excited about food. It's not like I've just had a completely neutral relationship in terms of I'm just like, yeah, it's just food. No, I love food. It's
yeah,
exciting to me.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, it was very, because now I kind of have the same, but it's just such a long process, and not to discourage anyone, because it's growth you have with you, you keep with you for the rest of your life, you know. It's such amazing long-term growth, but it took a lot of compassion and allowance and acceptance to be like, okay, I understand that it's still really on my mind, and I think
Mhm.
about it a lot, because that was the more annoying thing. I didn't really care anymore if it would change my body. I was just like, I am here right now, or I'm traveling, and I just want to be present in the moment and not think about the next cafe I'm going to, the restaurant. Like I'm kind of fed up with that now. I don't
Yeah.
want to care about it anymore. But my body still was so, yeah. So I think I've learned how to also notice when I would feel a little bit more unsafe, because then
Mm-hmm.
that sometimes still shows up when I feel a bit unsettled, unsafe. Not unsafe in a way of like someone's gonna hurt me, but yeah, just a little bit unsettled, or I didn't have enough time by myself to reconnect with myself, or this or that. It sometimes, yeah, it tries to like nudge me into that direction and make me fixate on, yeah, for example, food. And again, it's not very like, it's not a bad thing, but it, yeah, it took over so much of my mind in the past.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and yeah, I just had to practice like bringing in tools and still allowing it. So I would then journal or something and do a couple of things, but also have the food, and
Yes.
and also not delay it too much, because that would still make it kind of feel scarce.
Mm.
To be like, okay, I really want this food right now and stuff. I know it's more because I'm just feeling a certain way. I know I've done the work and I always allow myself, blah, blah, blah. Um, but I'm first gonna do all these things to teach myself, like, no, it's not allowed anymore. We gotta now like process emotions or something with other tools. You have to like stay compassionate and be like, no, I can have it now, and then I will do the other things like after or at the same time. because yeah, if you would also like delay it too much, it, or like at least with me, but I think that would resonate for a lot of people, that it would then still become kind of the thing you would put on the pedestal.
Oh, for sure. And
Yeah,
what you would be on then is you'd be on the don't eat emotionally diet.
yeah, yeah,
And I've been on that diet too. I've been like, right, I'm healed, I'm recovered, but then like, why am I still eating emotionally? Like I know I'm not hungry. I
yeah,
know I'm just bored, for example, or I know I'm just sad or exhausted. Why am I going to food? Well, sweetheart, it makes complete sense why you go into food. And thank God for food because
yeah,
not enlightened beings yet. I mean, we're always working on it, right? To get deeper into our true essence of who we are. But food is okay. Like once we genuinely, not just through words, but through that, we need to reach it through words and that experience of like, it really is okay if I eat emotionally. From that is born the true empowerment of choice.
yeah.
That's what I see true recovery. Like, for example, like when would it have been last week? My daughter Koa, it was a very challenging day with her and she went to bed and I was like, do you know what? And when I was putting her to bed, I was like, I know exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to put her to bed, get on my phone, order New York pizza desserts because they do the best desserts around here. I'm just going to, I'm so excited to just sit and put my series on and have my, what did I order? Two chocolate lava cakes, a chocolate chip cookie and a cheesecake. And
Oh,
I was like,
yeah,
my husband, you can go and game in the office. Bye. Like, and I guess someone might label that emotional eating. I don't care. I enjoyed every single part of it.
yeah,
For me, it was like my time. It
yeah,
like that's freedom to me.
yeah,
But if I didn't want to do that, I would first of all need a reason why. Like why wouldn't if that's feeling really good to me, if I have a desire to do that, I'm gonna do it. But
yeah,
if I generally had a desire, let's say not that I ever would go to the gym in the evening, but let's say I was going to the gym in the evening, then I probably wouldn't because I'd choose the gym over feeling better the next day. What it doesn't matter. It's allowance creates space for choice.
yeah,
And
yeah,
that's true freedom is choice.
yeah. That's actually a quote of yours I've been repeating through
Yes,
such a big amount of time in recovery. Allowance creates space for choice. Yeah.
it does.
I
But
just
true
heard you say
choice,
it in my head sometimes, like allowance creates space for choice.
yeah.
It's so good. Yeah.
And when people are reminding themselves that, don't allow you, not you, other people that might be using that, don't use it so that you don't choose the chocolate as an example. Don't use it as a segue into, oh, if I keep allowing, then I won't choose the chocolate, because
Yeah.
that's still sneaky restriction.
Mm.
That's still in order to fill in the blank, which is the opposite of spirituality and what we're doing here in true freedom, especially when we're saying I'll be happy when fill in the blank suffering in order to I'm doing let's even like okay I know we're coming up to the end of it but I'm even going to go here like let's say I'm going to give to charity in order to feel good about myself and show that I'm a generous person. I asked myself, would I do things behind closed doors if nobody knew what I was doing?
Mm.
So I'm bringing that back to in order to. So if you're doing the allowance in order to not choose chocolate, that's not freedom.
Mm.
If you're genuinely being in full, total, radical allowance and then standing in your power of choice, what do I actually want? Not what I think I should want or shouldn't do.
Yeah.
What do I want? And then from that space, it's hard to describe until you've experienced it, comes, for example, a couple of weeks ago when I was like, nah, I actually don't want a dessert. I'm full. I'm good. There's no desserts that are exciting me. I mean, I can always have one, but apple pie, no, not doing it. It just doesn't do it for me. So I could then,
Yeah.
from a place of freedom, say no to a dessert as an example.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's the best way to describe it. But it's that feeling of, I guess, peace
Yeah.
in the choice of whatever it is you want or don't want because you've not got a story around whether you do something or don't do something.
Yeah. Yeah. I really noticed that my body had to get used to that too, to actually
Yeah.
say no as well, because
Yeah.
it became such a normal, like a habit to like eat this or that or at that time or whatever. Like it was became such a habit, which was totally necessary and everything, but really at a point I was like, I just don't want it right now. But it felt so weird to not do it.
Yeah.
So I
Yes.
really had to experiment with that too and practice with it. Like, okay, I am safe. I am okay not doing it now. Like, I know for myself. I almost really had to sit down for it and talk to my body. Like, I am safe now. I'm choosing to not have it now because I genuinely don't want it. And it's not out of a bad place or something, but it's really, I don't want it now and I'm going to be fine. But sometimes I would say that and then still have it. Like, I
And that's
really needed to
the process.
practice it
The
because
process.
it felt so weird. It
Yeah.
felt so weird. Yeah.
That's part of the process, isn't it? To practice feeling safe enough to say no when you genuinely don't want it. Anyone listening, always say yes if you want it. If you have a desire for it, always say yes. But if you're kind of noticing you're having it just because it's there, just for the sake of it, just because that's what you've always done, again, nothing wrong with that. Do that for the rest of your life. There's no problem.
Mm.
But if there's something bigger inside of you being like, this just doesn't feel aligned for me to do this right now,
Yeah.
then first use the words and the compassion and the reassurance that Lola was just describing. And then you might probably do the behavior anyway. And that's okay because you're just getting to know what it might feel like to think about not doing the thing you've
Yeah.
always done that you actually don't want. And it just so slow and just so loving and so soft. Then one day, I assume you just didn't do it. And then you were like, that actually felt better. And I can also do it whenever I want to do it.
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes it still maybe shows up, but I always also in recovery it really teaches you to celebrate the moments when you have made a little change. You know, when there was a day when you did things differently and that aligned more with you.
Yes,
Yeah. It's not about
exactly.
perfection. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
And ultimately, it's no biggie if you have the food. Like, even in this process of being safe to say no to your genuine desires not to have the thing, it's no biggie if you have it. It's just food.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just body fat. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Only if we make it matter.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you can't go wrong. Like
Yeah.
compassion, curiosity, and just take it slow and just connect to that true self and like what feels right. Like one prime example before we start to wrap up. Last night, my husband's in charge of cooking, and I love him to bits, but he's not the most organized person in the world. And sometimes, more often than I would like, he just is like, oh, we're just going to get a takeaway. And I'm fine with that because I don't care. But last night I was like, do you know what? I would just love like a home cooked,
Yeah.
that I'm not going to cook. I mean, full responsibility, I could have at 8 o'clock at night cooked it. There's no fucking way. I'm going to bed at 8:30. I'm not doing that. So when Co was going to bed, he then ordered it. So I happily ate it, but I knew intuitively for no reason that was connected to restriction or weight or anything like that. I would intuitively would have preferred not to have a takeaway last night.
Yeah.
But I did, and it was no biggie.
Yeah.
But that just shows that my body is
Yeah.
communicating with me that it didn't want that. But then some nights I'm like, oh yeah, that is absolutely hitting the nail on the head. That is just, I would love to have that takeaway right now. So your body just changes and just practice listening. And doesn't
Yeah.
mean you don't always have to listen always. Like your body's not going to disown you.
Yeah.
Just be curious and compassionate with yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so Lola, is there anything that I've not asked you or you've not shared that you want our listeners to hear?
No, I think we've talked about a lot of amazing things that could go on, but there's of course an end to it. Um, yeah, I am yeah about like what my future plans are, whatever. I'm always very open and curious for whatever life is gonna like, whatever my path is. I want to travel soon and learn more about yeah cacao and dances and movement and how kind of dancing in an intuitive way has helped me also in recovery and yeah go on more of this spiritual journey and hopefully already soon, but I'm not rushing it. um, yeah, work with other people to make them feel more connected to really themselves, their soul and their heart, and let their heart speak. And
Mm.
because it helps with recovery, but it helps with so much more. It helps with all of life. Yeah.
Oh, yes, sister, amen to that. I felt that. And can you remember how long ago was it when we first connected? Was it what, 2, 3 years? Like, was it 2 years ago, 3 years ago?
Might have been even
Really?
3 years ago. Like I got sick when I think I was 17 and a half or 17. Yeah, I was 17. And now I'm 22. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So, I mean, there is no time. The time is
No,
now, and all of
no.
that. But
It's been a while. Yeah, it's been a while. Um, yeah.
can you imagine, like, you probably do because it's part of your work, but just connecting with that past version of you and then seeing this version of you today, like,
Yeah.
what's the prominent emotion that you feel when you like
Yeah.
connect to that past you?
I don't know. I'm too happy to cry, but I
Yeah.
would have never thought that I would be recording something and being in such a like healthy, bright, joyful. That's always been my nature. And to be back in that in yeah, to be myself again and so connected and be talking about what I've been through and that I've survived all of that. Like, wow, yeah, yeah.
Heaven, yes.
Um,
I had tears in my eyes for you. I was almost crying for you in the happiness and how far you've come because
Yeah,
there's nothing better. And when you help people, because I know you will, in this work, whatever avenue you take, there is no better feeling than witnessing another soul
yeah,
come back home to themselves. Like, it's like the best thing in the entire world. Like,
yeah, yeah.
yes.
And recovery is so possible, whoever you are, and it does require time and patience and practice, but don't let the amount of time discourage you because you're going to build so much growth and knowledge and freedom that you bring with you for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And let's say it takes a year, let's say it takes 2 years to become, it doesn't have to, by the way, this is just a random long timeline that I'm sharing here. Let's say if it takes 3 years, the rest of your life, which is hopefully a lot longer than 3 years, it's so worth it. Like people can recover in months, and obviously the journey is ongoing. But I want to just finish it here. Like it's never too late. And even if you think your recovery is slow and whatever, keep fucking going because you have the rest of your life to live in the recovery you've
Yeah.
built for yourself and the freedom you'll be living. So it's never too late, and one day at a time, and it's always worth it in the
Yeah.
end.
Yeah. And it will go like that
Oh yeah, it won't be linear. You'll be like,
a year or 2 years.
thinking, for fuck's sake, I'm back at square one a year into it, and you're not. You've just done a side kind of sidewinded it, and you've took a different route, and that's fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ah, well, Lola, I've really enjoyed this conversation,
Me
so
too.
thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
And
I'm so
I
I'm
love
so happy
listening.
that you were open for doing this. Yeah.
Of course, I could feel the energy behind it. I know it would be an amazing conversation. And
Yeah.
if our listeners want to hear more from us, then just let us know, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Let us know. We can come
Definitely.
back for take twos and take threes like I do with my lovely friend Mike. I might contact you and Mike. You have some great conversations. Have you watched the episodes with my friend Mike?
I think I've seen half of it. Yeah, I think I've seen half of it. I'm like now also I'm so busy with all that life suddenly has to offer. I'm like I don't even have time to watch
The best
movies
way.
anymore and so which is amazing, yeah. But it's like, whoa, I need more time. Suddenly
You're too busy just being
being,
and
yeah,
living instead of consuming podcasts. That is, I mean, that's a whole nother podcast we could go into.
yeah, 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 for real.
But we'll leave it there. But thank you to our lovely listeners. Thank you to you, Lola.
Yeah.
Much love to all of you. See you next time.
Bye.